we are continuing Wave 5 of the Kenner Real Ghostbusters collection. Now, this is a little different because not all the characters are featured on the show that we see throughout the figures here, but now we're diving into like the world of Universal monsters, although these aren't officially Universal monsters. They are just monsters, as the line is called, the Monsters collection. But they are, a lot of them are like the core ones we see from the Universal horror, like you got Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy. Like these are the core characters you see, and they become part of this collection. Now, looking at the Real Ghostbusters series, yes, there were vampires and werewolves and Frankenstein's monster in different episodes. I think No One Goes to Lupinsville is one of them that had werewolves and vampires. Then there was another one, I think Gene Milton's Ghostbuster, where Frankenstein's monster is inside the containment tank that Simon runs into him. So, like, and I'm sure these other ones pop up somewhere, but not exactly in this design. But still, this is kind of fun that we're getting these other characters that are going to have action features among them, just like we got in this wave with the Screaming Heroes. So, yeah, each of them has their own little unique action feature we'll get to. So again, this is part 5 or wave 5. So you can see on the back of the card here, we have our Screaming Heroes we did last time. We have the monster figures. And then we're going to have a couple more of the Haunted Humans in this line, as well as one new roleplay accessory. So we'll be checking those out next time. But let's get into these monster figures. All right, we are going to start with the Wolfman. So here we go. We have this little card. Sorry for the design on it. I love how each of them has a little drawing on the top so you can see the whole line there of the monsters on these card backs. But the Wolfman, very simple here. He has his hands here, and basically you could just squeeze his legs and he howls. You can see him howl. You could adjust the hands a little bit if you want him a little higher. But that's basically all he does is he howls, and you could grab a character or something like that. And then you have the ability to move those hands. So pretty good mechanic here. He's got the torn clothes. He's in wolf style, but still human clothing. So that was a fun little easy one. Next up we have, what do they call him? The Hunchback? No, the Quasimodo monster. So Quasimodo was his name. But yeah, they call him Quasimodo monster. The first one was called the Wolfman Monster. So they added the word monster after every character, and I guess that got out of any legal issues here. So the Quasimodo Monster, as you can see, is the Hunchback here, essentially, with a chain. You can see the chest hair on him. He's got this face design. So he's technically human, but they're calling him monster in this one. So he has this fun feature where you squeeze his legs, and he breaks out of his chains if you get it to work. There we go. So he basically breaks out of his chains. Mine will be a little stubborn here. Let me try resetting it and raising his arms a little bit. There we go. So he breaks out of the chains, and then he becomes a threatening monster. But that is the Quasimodo monster. So yeah, you couldn't really lose this accessory unless you broke it. It's kind of on his arm. It doesn't come off, and you could just reset it, and his mouth opens. So that's really it. So you have that whole functionality there. Of, if I get there we go. The head works. I guess mine's got a good stick to it this over the years because it kind of pushes in here and it's a little pressure fitted. Mine is not coming out easy, so that's good. It's maintained its appeal. It hasn't just fallen out loosely. All right, next up we have the Zombie Monster. As you can see him here, he's kind of funny. He reminds me of a Fright Features figure right here. So you could basically squeeze his legs, his hands come up, his hair comes up, and his eyes kind of roll around. And then he's got like teeth under his hair. I don't know what that is supposed to be, but yeah, he's kind of like a voodoo zombie design. He's got these bone necklace around him, tattered clothing. His skin's a completely different color, lanky arms and legs. It's kind of weird looking purple skin. So he has this great little zombie function. I'm going to get you. So that works great with the figures. I love that design for him. He was one of my favorites out of the series. Just the simplicity of it, the colors and everything. All right, next up, the Dracula monster. So we have our vampire here. Of course, you had to have him. Now, this one, very commonly, people lost this cape. So there's a clasp that goes on here. The cape goes on here. It goes into the thumbs like this here. And essentially, you could pose his hands, and then you squeeze his legs, and his jaw opens, and his hands come out like he's posing as a bat. That's basically you can see his fangs underneath in there, um, showing that he's a vampire. Yeah, the discoloration here on the front a little bit from just over the years. It's rubbing through the purple there, but that was supposed to be completely white. But that's really it for this guy. So this cape, again, commonly lost. It would just come off. So you could probably pick it up on eBay for about 20 bucks or so if you want to finish your figure, or if you find them at a yard sale and you need that part. It's quite common for that to be lost. All right, the Mummy Monster. So this one is interesting. I just want to say it kind of explodes as you use it. That's the action feature. So, I mean, he's coming here in his wraps, and you can see the traditional wraps with the sort of the, dried up skin sticking out all the way around. And there's holes in here, so you could actually see the little red eyes. It might be hard on the camera there, and I'll show you closer in a minute. And then over here, we have cloth to hold these parts together. So, which blends in with the plastic wrappings, but we have actual like cloth wrappings here. So when you squeeze his legs, you can see his arms go up, and then what happens is his parts fall off. So his arm shoots out here, and his head falls off here. So now you can see those eyes that I was talking about, the little red eyes on him. But basically when you squeeze his legs, the arm like pushes out and the head goes down, so then these parts can fall off. Hard to lose these unless you broke the wrappings because they are literally attached to him. So basically you would have to really work to lose these pieces. But that is your Mummy Monster. So this was kind of a cool figure. Got a little dirty over the years. Maybe I could clean that with some steam to get it a little bit whiter, but that's how it was initially. But he just kind of explodes. So that is your Mummy Monster. Last but not least, we have the Frankenstein Monster. Right here, you can see him on his card. Frankenstein's monster would be the actual name for him. A lot of people just call him Frankenstein, but Frankenstein's monster, we don't actually know what his name is. I mean, he could just be like, my name is Jeff. Rawr. It's weird. He never has a name. I mean, everyone calls him Frankenstein. But essentially, this is another kind of fright feature style one. You squeeze the legs and his head extends out, his arms come up. He has this yawn look. Yeah, it's very simple. It's kind of, I like the hair. It looks like a electric bolt, like right there, a little lightning bolt. So it's fun giving his origins. Thick boots. He's got the standard gray outfit on, some stitching on there, and then his face has a scar on there with a little. You can see some stitching on there as well, and on the back of the head with the little bolts on there. So kind of your typical Frankenstein monster trope here. But he has this feature where the arms go up. Now, I see a lot of figures online where the legs don't work, and people just think you lift the hands and that's how it works. No, it's the legs. So if the leg's not working to make the mechanism, then it's broken. So you can lift the hands to make it work manually, but you're supposed to pinch the legs. So that is what a functional Frankenstein's monster looks like, or Jeff. So that is rounding out the wave there. This was a great wave to add to the villain side. We got like a theme like we had with the Haunted Humans. I want to say this is like the last theme of bad guys we got. Now it's just going to be a mixture of ghosts, although the large ones will have a theme. You see we have another large wave coming. But these guys had their own like, title on the card, monsters, just like the Haunted Humans had their own title. So it's kind of cool to have like a titled wave in that respect. But this was your villain wave for Wave 5 of Kenner, the Real Ghostbusters collection. Okay, yeah, that was basically it for Wave 5 here of the Real Ghostbusters with the villain specific wave. I mean, we got a couple more ghosts that we're going to show you, but I want to call them vehicle class. They're a little bit more to them than just a standard card back. They came in boxes. So I'm separating the wave out that way. But this kind of wraps it for that. And they have this fun action figure. Just very similar mechanics to what we saw with the Fright Features figures, where you squeeze the leg or something like that, and the figure has the action response. So they kind of kept that. That will come back. Wave 7 Super Fright features, so stay tuned for that. Um, yeah, Wave 5 here as the return of that mechanic. Next time, we're going to have a couple more of the Haunted Humans line that came back in a deluxe version. We're going to have the next Ghost Spooker, which is going to be one of the roleplay items, so I'll throw that in there as well. And then we go on to Wave 6, which was a very short wave in terms of new releases for figures, but there was a lot of roleplay in that wave, so we'll be checking those out as well. So we got a lot ahead of us. We have 10 full waves, and I decided to do a bonus wave. It's going to have miscellaneous Kenner items from the Real Ghostbusters collection that weren't really on these card backs, but were other products they made. So we'll be going all the way until November now. So yeah, very exciting to have all this stuff to show you, and I hope you enjoy it. We're getting a nice close look at these guys out of package and in pretty decent shape, which you don't usually see them functional and out of package a whole lot. So we have them all nice preserved and cleaned up for you guys to check out. So see our other videos, what we captured all the way up to Wave 5 now, and then stay tuned for more. Like, subscribe, and follow. See you guys next time.